Nice that you are watching the video. We continue with the album Speak Now by Taylor Swift. Swift announced Speak Now on July 20, 2010, in a live stream on Ustream. Big Machine Records released the lead single, Mine, to US country radio and digital download sites on August 4, 2010. The single peaked at number 3 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and was certified triple platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, RIAA. It reached number 6 in Japan, number 7 in Canada, and number 9 in Australia. On August 18, Swift released the album's cover art, which depicts Swift with curly hair and red lipstick twirling in a deep purple gown. On September 15, she announced a Target-exclusive deluxe edition whose cover art is identical to that of the standard edition, but the gown is red instead of purple. Starting from October 4, 2010. Big Machine released one Speak Now track each week on the iTunes Store as part of a 3-week countdown campaign. The title track was released on October 5, followed by Back to December on October 12 and Mean on October 19. On October 22, Xfinity premiered a preview of The Story of Us. Big Machine released the standard and deluxe editions of Speak Now on October 25, 2010. The Target-exclusive CD plus DVD edition contains 14 songs of the standard, the bonus tracks, Hours, If This Was a Movie, and Superman, acoustic versions of Back to December, and Haunted, a pop mix of Mine, a 30-minute behind-the-scenes video for Mine, and the music video for Mine. The deluxe edition was released to other retailers on January 17, 2012. To bolster sales of the album, Swift had partnerships with Starbucks, Sony Electronics, Walmart, and Jack's Pacific. In October 2011, Swift partnered with Elizabeth Arden, Inc. to release her fragrance brand, Wonderstruck, whose name references the lyrics of Enchanted. To further promote Speak Now, Swift appeared on magazine covers and conducted press interviews. She performed Innocent at the 2010 MTV Video Music Awards. Her other performances at awards shows include the Country Music Association Awards and the American Music Awards in 2010. The Academy of Country Music Awards and the Country Music Association Awards in 2011. She also performed at Nashville's Country Music Hall of Fame. In Europe, Swift performed on BBC Radio 2 and X Factor Italy, and she had interviews with BBC Radio 1 in the United Kingdom and NRJ in France. She embarked on a promotional tour in Japan, where she appeared on the television shows SMAPX, SMAP, and Music Station. Her round of American television shows included Today, Late Show with David Letterman, The Ellen DeGeneres Show, Live with Regis and Kelly, and Dancing with the Stars. She also gave private concerts to contest winners and played a semi-private concert for JetBlue at the John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York. After Mine, Swift released 5 more singles from Speak Now. Back to December and Mean, which were earlier available for digital download, were released to US country radio on November 15, 2010, and March 13, 2011. The 2 singles peaked at numbers 7 and 10 in Canada, and Back to December reached number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. The Story of Us was released to US pop radio on April 19, 2011. Sparks Fly and Hours were released to US country radio on July 18 and December 5, 2011. Prior to its single release, Hours, together with the other deluxe edition tracks, was released for digital download via the iTunes Store on November 8. 2011. Sparks Fly and Hours reached the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100 and peaked atop the Hot Country Songs chart. The RIAA certified all 6 of the album's singles at least platinum. Back to December and Mean sold over 2 million copies each, and they were certified double platinum and triple platinum. On November 23, 2010, Swift announced the Speak Now World Tour, which started in Singapore on February 9, 2011. The tour visited Asia and Europe before the North American leg started in Omaha, Nebraska, on May 27, 2011. Within 2 days of announcement, the tour sold 625,000 tickets. By April 2011, Swift had added another 16 shows to the North American leg. After the final U.S. concert in New York City on November 22, 2011, the Speak Now World Tour had covered 80 sold-out North American shows. On August 10, 2011, Swift released a music video for Sparks Fly that includes footage from the tour. She released the album Speak Now World Tour live on November 21, 2011. In December 2011, Swift announced an extension of the tour to Australia and New Zealand starting in March 2012. Concluding on March 18, 2012, the Speak Now World Tour had covered 110 shows, visited 18 countries, and grossed $123.7 million. Before Speak Now's release, Big Machine shipped 2 million copies of the album to stores in the United States. In the week ending November 13, 2010, the album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 chart, with first-week sales of 1,047,000 copies. It marked the highest single-week tally for a female country artist and became the first album since Lil Wayne's The Carter III, 2008, to sell over 1 million copies in its first week of release. Media publications including Billboard, MTV, and The New York Times published articles highlighting Speak Now's strong sales in the context of declining record sales brought about by the emergence of music download platforms. According to The New York Times, although the music industry in 2010 saw album sales by more than 50% in the last decade, the album proved Swift has transcended the limitations of genre and become a pop megastar. The Guinness World Records in 2010 recognized Speak Now as the fastest-selling album in the United States by a female country artist. In Speak Now's first charting week, 11 of the standard edition's 14 tracks charted on the Billboard Hot 100, making Swift the first female artist to have 11 songs on the Hot 100 at the same time. After the digital release of the deluxe edition tracks in November 2011, If This Was a Movie charted at number 10 on the Hot 100, making Swift the first artist to have 8 songs debut in the top 10. With this achievement, Speak Now had 4 songs peaking in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100, Mine, Back to December, Speak Now, and If This Was a Movie. The album spent 6 non-consecutive weeks atop the Billboard 200. Speak Now was the third best-selling album of 2010 in the United States with sales of 2.96 million copies. By January 2024, it had sold 4.817 million copies in the United States. The RIAA certified the album 6 times platinum, which denotes 6 million album equivalent units based on sales, song downloads, and streaming. Speak Now was a chart success in the wider English-speaking world. It peaked atop the album's charts of Australia, Canada, and New Zealand, and peaked at number 6 in Ireland and the United Kingdom. The album was certified triple platinum in Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. Upon conclusion of the Asian leg of the Speak Now World Tour by February 2011, The album sold 400,000 copies in the region and received platinum sales certifications in Taiwan, South Korea, Indonesia, and the Philippines. In Europe, it charted at number 4 in Norway, number 6 in Japan, number 8 in Mexico, and number 10 in Spain. After Swift embarked on the Eras Tour, 2023-2024, Speak Now resurged in popularity in the United Kingdom. It re-entered the top 40, at number 23, of the UK albums chart for the week ending May 18, 2023, which was its first top 40 appearance since November 2010. Speak Now received generally positive reviews from contemporaneous critics. Metacritic, which assigns a normalized rating out of 100 to reviews from mainstream publications, gave the album an average score of 77 that was based on 20 reviews. Any Decent Music compiled 10 reviews and gave it an average score of 6.9 out of 10. Most critics approved of Swift's grown-up perspective on love and relationships. Reviews published in AllMusic, Entertainment Weekly, The Guardian, The Los Angeles Times, and Rolling Stone complimented the songs for portraying emotions with engaging narratives and vivid details. In AllMusic's review, Stephen Thomas Erlewine wrote, "Writes from the perspective of the moment yet has the skill of a songwriter beyond her years. American songwriter approved of Swift's self-penned material and artistic control." In his consumer guide, Robert Christgau commented that although the album was too long and the romantic themes did not interest him, the songs were fascinating because of an effort that bears a remarkable resemblance to Care, that is, to caring in the best, broadest, and most emotional sense. The album's dramatic themes of heartbreak and vengeance received mixed reviews. Spin and Now said although it included some memorable tracks, Speak Now was blemished by celebrity, rage, and grievances. Slant magazine lauded Swift's melodic songwriting for offering radio-friendly pop hooks, but criticized the lyrics of Dear John, Mean, Innocent, and Better Than Revenge as shallow and short-sighted. According to Stephen Hayden from the AV Club, those tracks were Speak Now's strength. Swift's niftiest trick is being at her most likable when she's indulging in such overt nastiness. Entertainment Weekly agreed, deeming those tracks inevitable for Swift's artistic evolution. The Village Voice said Swift's songwriting was not confessional, but dramatic, and found it more nuanced and mature compared to that of Fearless. Other reviews focused on Speak Now's production. Reviews published in Paste and Slant magazine called it a catchy album with radio-friendly pop tunes. The former was impressed by the crossover appeal but deemed the overall production dull. The Village Voice took issue with Swift's vocals as weak and strained. BBC Music found the album's track list too long but called it overall a sparky and affecting record. Now approved of Swift's experimentation with styles other than country but considered it too safe, and said the album was tarnished by slickly produced power pop and a sugary sameness indiscernible from any number of today's radio-oriented artists. Ann Powers appreciated Speak Now's soft, introspective tracks for personalizing pop music. John Caramanica of the New York Times lauded the experimentation with genres such as blues and pop-punk, and he called Speak Now a bold step for Swift. Speak Now was ranked 13th on Rolling Stone's list of the best albums of 2010. The New York Times' John Caramanica ranked the album number 2, behind Rick Ross's Teflon Don, in his 2010 year-end list. The album appeared on lists of the best country albums of 2010. Pop Matters ranked it 5th, and The Boot ranked it 2nd. In 2012, Speak Now appeared at number 45 on Rolling Stone's list of the 50 best female albums of all time. The magazine commented, she might get played on the country station. But she's one of the few genuine rock stars we've got these days, with a flawless ear for what makes a song click. In 2019, Billboard listed Speak Now in 51st place on its list of the best albums of the 2010s and second on its list of best country albums of the same decade. The album also ranked 37th on Spin's 2010s Decade End list and 71st on that of Cleveland.com, and Taste of Country named it the fourth best country album of the 2010s. Speak Now received industry awards and nominations. In the United States, it was nominated for Album of the Year at the Academy of Country Music Awards, the American Country Awards, and in 2011 the Country Music Association Awards. At the 2011 Billboard Music Awards, Speak Now was nominated for Top Billboard 200 Album and won Top Country Album. It won Favorite Album, Country, at the 2011 American Music Awards and Top Selling Album of 2011 by the Canadian Country Music Association, and was nominated for International Album of the Year at the 2011 Juno Awards and for International Album of the Year at the 2012 Canadian Independent Music Awards. At the 54th Annual Grammy Awards in 2012, Speak Now was nominated for Best Country Album, and its single, Mean, won Best Country Solo Performance and Best Country Song. In a 2019 Rolling Stone cover story, Swift said she wrote the album by herself as a reaction to her critics' doubts about her songwriting ability. For some critics and academics, the self-written Speak Now is an album that solidified Swift's songwriting and artistry with its nuanced observations and confessional songs about young adulthood and confrontation against her critics. Many considered it a strong groundwork to Swift's consistently evolved songcraft on subsequent albums. For communications professor Miles McNutt, the album established Swift's credentials to claim authorship to her music and career, contrary to other artists being commodified by their labels. Its commercial success contributed to her fame as a pop star, transcending her self-identity as a country music artist. Pitchfork's Sam Sodomsky, reviewing the album in 2019, contended that her country music identity served as an indicator of her autobiographical songwriting rather than musical style. Some commentators reflected on Speak Now in the context of Swift's celebrity. They viewed the songs inspired by Swift's public experience, including high-profile, short-lived romantic relationships and the 2009 MTV Awards incident, as a precedent to her confessional narratives of subsequent albums, which received extensive media attention. According to the gender studies professor Adrienne Brown, the songs about idealized romance and her innocent, good girl image made her stand out in a contemporary pool of sexualized female pop artists. Brown commented that Swift's unwillingness to openly discuss sex and tendency to criticize females who whore themselves out, as in the lyrics of Better Than Revenge, was problematic. In Vulture, Maura Johnston remarked that although the songs about Swift's public experience were missteps, they hinted at her 2017 album Reputation, which explores Swift's public image and confrontation against her critics. In November 2020, after a dispute over the ownership of the masters to her back catalog, Swift began re-recording her first 6 studio albums. On May 5, 2023, at the First Eras Tour show in Nashville, Swift announced the re-recorded version of Speak Now, Taylor's version, and its release date on July 7. Speak Now, Taylor's version, consists of re-recordings of all 14 songs from the standard edition. The deluxe tracks, Hours, and Superman, and 6 previously unreleased, from the Vault songs. After Speak Now, Taylor's version was released. The original album reached new peaks in Switzerland, number 1, Austria, number 1, Germany, number 2, and it was certified gold in the latter two countries. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye.